Hello, and welcome to Photo Feedback Forum. I am your host and fellow photographer, Dak. In this episode, I'll be taking a look at some of my own images, seeing what I think worked, what didn't, and how they could have been improved. These critiques are geared towards beginner and intermediate photographers who are getting into photo contests and want to score higher. That said, seasoned pros may get a kick out of some of this stuff as well. I'll be taking a look at key elements like composition, storytelling, and more to help you look at your photos with a more critical eye. So grab a drink, settle in, and let's get focused. Okay, here we go. We are looking at a sunset, just your standard sunset. I'm sure you have an opinion on it. So do I. Let's get into it. All right, first off, composition. It is lacking. We're missing something over here, or I could have cropped it as a portrait, maybe even a square here, something that would have focused our attention more on the main part of the scene, which is the sun. Now, there are some layers. That's decent. That works. But overall, there's not enough going on in this composition to rate it much. So what would have helped? Having a boat over there. That would have been nice. That would have balanced out the sun. Something else that would have been really cool, if it actually existed, would have been that giant fish dinosaur thing from Jurassic Park. That would have been really cool. That would have made this image far more interesting. But apparently those are extinct. So that would never have happened. So we're left with a sunset. I would call this a wall hanger. I mean, I think it would look decent in a living room, but as a photo entered into a competition, it's going to get a 12 from me. Lighting, hey, from the horizon on up, decent lighting. I think that works well. On the water, there's unevenness, dark and light. I like this reflection here. That works. The blocked up shadows here are not helping. Technical, post-processing wise, it's overcooked, way too crunchy. Not sure what I was thinking, but not great. Impact, again, from the horizon on up, it has some impact, but overall, good third and change, not that impactful. So I give it a 15. Storytelling, there's not much story to tell. It's a sunset, so I'm going to give it a 12. Collectively, this gets a 68. Now this image, the macro match, I think does work. Let's see why. Compositionally, the vertical crop keeps us focused on the subject. There's nothing else in the background that's going to distract us. There's action happening here, so that's a bonus. So collectively, the composition, that one gets an 18. Lighting, also an 18. It's lit by the match, so it's as good as it can get. Yes, there's no detail here, but that's expected. There is plenty of detail here in the matchstick. From a technical standpoint, also an 18. I like the texture. I like the fact that this was captured right after the match was lit. So there's something happening. I find that interesting. Impactful, yes. Yes, it is just a match on fire, but we seldom look at such a thing this closely. So for me, I think it's very impactful. Storytelling, less so. It is a match on fire. Somewhat interesting. I give it a 16. Collectively, this image gets a 90. All right, here we have a turkey. Let's get into it. Compositionally, yeah, not bad. I think maybe I could have made this into a square, chopped off the top bit there. I think that would have allowed us to focus more on the bird. I think there's just a little too much space in the background. Not horrible, but I think it could have been better. Lighting works. Got the old catch light there. That's always important. The lighting also creates some texture here in the plumage. That works. So I'm going to give that a 17. From a technical standpoint, I think the background is just too bright. I should have taken that down. The background competes too much with the subject. If this was darker, it would have allowed the subject to shine a little bit more. Impactful? We don't really look at turkeys this close on a normal, everyday basis, so I'm going to give it some impact, 17. Storytelling, though, it is just a bird standing there. It's not doing anything, not much of a story, so that's why I'm going to give it a 15. Collectively, 82 for this image. Here I went minimalist, and yeah, I think overall it works for what it is. Compositionally, I'm going to give it a 17. There's not a whole lot else I don't think that I could have done to make it more interesting. Using the standard odd number of subjects, we have 3. I think that works. Lighting, I have some nice side lighting here. Let me get my side lighting. I think that works. Gives us some dimension to the subjects. So from a technical standpoint, though, they are overcooked, too sharp. They didn't need to be this sharp. So if they were a little softer, I think it would have been easier on the eye, and that would have raised the technical score. Impact, really, there's not much impact here. It is just 3. I'm not even sure what these things are, but there's not much impact. I can see it maybe in a dentist's office, kind of trying to calm people down, kind of a Zen moment. But overall, not much impact, and also there's no real story here, so I'm just going to give it a 10. Collectively, this one gets a 70. All right, here we have an early attempt of mine of trying to capture the northern lights. I remember being very excited about seeing them for the first time, and I certainly had looked up how to capture night photos, but apparently I didn't listen to what I had learned. It's just not sharp, and that is a major factor why this is not great. Compositionally, also not great. I'm going to give it a 12. It's the attempt to make this kind of a grand vista, I guess, but there's nothing for the eye to land on. You just kind of just cruise from one side to the other, and the eye doesn't really land on anything. Lighting, yeah, 14. And it is a little tricky to get northern lights captured in what you really see, but I didn't do it justice here, so I'm going to give it a 14. Technical, it's a mess. It's soft. That's the main thing. Going back to the lighting, I'm not sure if this was car lights. I'm not sure what the deal was. Technical, I think I tried to maybe save it in post, and that didn't work. Impact, no. There's just not much impact there. While it was exciting being out there seeing the northern lights for the first time, they weren't that exciting. I've been fortunate enough to see them a number of times since this photo, far more interesting, and I've gotten better at my technical skills. Storytelling, they are northern lights. I did make it out there. I found a spot that was dark enough to see them. That's about it for the story. Collectively, this one gets a 60. And lastly, we're going to end with an Ansel Adams quote. A photograph is usually looked at, seldom looked into. And that's the case with most photos that we take. Maybe we post them on Instagram or Facebook. People see them and then they scroll right by. If you're entering photo contests, the judges hopefully are looking into them, trying to figure out what's going on, what went on with the photographer, what were they thinking, what did they want to convey. Those are some of the thoughts that go on into a photo judge's mind. And that's where it comes back to the Ansel Adams quote. Most people are going to see an image, like it or not like it, and move on. Photo judges hopefully will spend a little time digging into them and providing useful feedback. I hope this was useful feedback for you. Thank you. We will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.